Building yourself quietly isn't about being invisible. It's about focusing on the work that only you can do. There's power in the silence, power in the patience, power in the discipline that goes unnoticed by others, but not by God. You see, the world wants to rush you. It wants to see the results without the process. But let me remind you today, growth is not always loud. Transformation doesn't always come with applause. Some of the greatest shifts happen in the quiet, in the stillness, when nobody's watching and you're left alone with your thoughts and your vision. It's easy to get caught up in comparison, to look at others and wonder why your journey doesn't look the same. But hear me, beloved, it's not about the spotlight. It's about the foundation you're building in the dark. Every moment you spend working on yourself, even when no one sees it, is one step closer to the masterpiece you are becoming. Growth happens gradually, and every step counts, even when unseen. In today's fast-paced world, we've been conditioned to believe that success is immediate and visible. Social media, reality shows, and even some success stories paint a picture of a sudden rise, a dramatic leap from obscurity to fame. However, true growth, the kind that leads to lasting transformation, rarely happens overnight. It's a process, and often it's a quiet one. The idea that growth is a series of instantaneous breakthroughs is an illusion that can derail many from their true path. When you're building yourself quietly, you're investing in the small, seemingly insignificant actions that over time accumulate into something monumental. It's about showing up when no one is watching, taking one step at a time, even when the progress doesn't feel big. Each little task you complete, each small victory you achieve is a building block towards something much greater. The beauty of this kind of growth is that it's not always about the immediate result, but about the consistency and persistence you display in your journey. The truth is, many of the most profound moments of transformation take place in the silence. It's in the quiet mornings when you choose to rise early, when the world is still asleep and you spend time working on your mind, body, or soul. It's the hours spent behind closed doors where no one sees you making changes, grinding away, and setting the groundwork for your future success. You may not get applause for these moments, and that's okay. What matters is that you're putting in the work, even when no one is there to witness it. The danger comes when we compare our quiet, steady progress to someone else's public success. In our age of instant gratification, it's easy to get discouraged when we see others seemingly advancing faster or receiving recognition for their efforts. Social media magnifies this temptation, showing us highlight reels of others' lives, making it appear as though they've had all the answers, all the resources, or all the luck. But what we don't see are the late nights, the failures, the challenges, and the quiet persistence that these individuals endured to get where they are. The process isn't glamorous, and it often involves a lot of work that goes unnoticed. But this quiet, behind-the-scenes effort is the real driver of success. And the challenge is in accepting that you may not see results immediately, and that's where true growth happens. It's in those moments of uncertainty, when you're working on your goals without immediate evidence that things are progressing, that you build character, you learn patience, resilience, and the importance of staying grounded in your purpose. These qualities don't develop in the limelight. They are forged in the quiet moments when no one else is around to applaud you. It's about trusting the process, knowing that even when it feels like nothing is happening, something is always shifting beneath the surface. Building yourself quietly also means developing habits that may seem insignificant to the outside world, but are essential for your personal growth. It's the daily routines, the small decisions, the consistent efforts that contribute to long-term success. These habits are often invisible, unnoticed by others, and sometimes even by you. But they are the foundation upon which everything else is built. As you continue to show up every day, you create a momentum that becomes unstoppable. Each day you choose to keep moving forward, you're reinforcing your commitment to the process. It's not about perfection or instant results. It's about the unwavering dedication to doing the work, even when the results aren't immediate. Another aspect of quiet growth is learning to be patient with yourself. Often we are our harshest critics, expecting immediate results and constantly measuring ourselves against others. But growth takes time. It's a slow burn, not a flash fire. Every step forward is important, even if it doesn't feel significant in the moment. The journey towards becoming your best self is not a sprint, it's a marathon. You may not always see the distance you've covered, but that doesn't mean you haven't made progress. The small actions you take each day are pushing you closer to where you want to be, even if the finish line isn't in sight yet. It's essential to remember that growth is not linear. There will be moments when you feel like you're not moving forward, or even when it seems like you've taken a step back. But in those moments, remember that growth is often a cycle. There will be periods of intense focus and effort, followed by periods of rest and reflection. The quiet moments of rest are just as important as the moments of intense activity. They allow you to recharge, to reassess your path, and to prepare for the next phase of your journey. As you continue to build yourself quietly, you'll start to see the shifts within you. It may not be immediately obvious to others, but you'll begin to notice the subtle changes in your mindset, your habits, and your confidence. These shifts are often the most profound because they come from within. They're not the result of external validation or recognition. They're the result of the work you've done in silence. The work that's been quietly transforming you into the person you're meant to be. The challenge then is to remain committed to the process, even when the rewards aren't immediate. It's about trusting that the small actions you take every day are leading you towards something bigger. The world may not notice your progress right away, but that doesn't mean it isn't happening. Quiet growth is often the most powerful because it's rooted in consistency and patience. Two qualities that will serve you well as you continue to build yourself into the person you are destined to become. Silence breeds strength. We live in a world where noise is constant. The hum of the city, the ping of notifications, the chatter of social media, and the endless distractions that demand our attention can sometimes drown out the most important thing, ourselves. In this world, it's easy to forget the power that lies in stillness, but it's in the quiet moments when everything is silent that we are often able to hear our own thoughts, find clarity, and reconnect with our deepest purpose. When we are constantly surrounded by noise and external pressures, it becomes difficult to hear our inner voice, to listen to the truth that resides within. Silence provides the space to tune out the distractions and tune into what really matters. It is in this quiet that we are able to build the strength we need to face the challenges of the world. Think about the times in your life when you felt most connected to your purpose. More often than not, these moments of clarity and strength were accompanied by a sense of solitude or quiet reflection. When you allowed yourself to step away from the chaos, even for a moment, you were able to access a deeper part of yourself. The strength you found in that space wasn't a loud outward display of power. It was the quiet inner strength that allowed you to be calm in the face of adversity, to trust your intuition, and to move forward with confidence. In the quiet, we are able to cultivate the kind of resilience that doesn't scream for attention. It's the kind of resilience that allows us to keep moving forward when no one is watching, when the applause has faded, and when the road ahead seems uncertain. It's easy to be resilient when you're surrounded by cheerleaders, when people are there to validate your every move. But true resilience is built in the moments when no one is around to cheer you on. It's built in the quiet of your own thoughts, in the times when you're alone with your dreams and your struggles, when the only voice you hear is your own. Silence also provides us with the opportunity to reflect on our growth. Often we are so focused on what's next that we forget to appreciate how far we've come. It's in the quiet that we are able to pause and take inventory of the progress we've made, to look back and see how much we've learned, how much we've overcome, and how much stronger we've become. Reflection in silence helps us gain perspective. It allows us to understand our strengths and weaknesses, and it gives us the insight we need to keep pushing forward. Without the quiet, we risk moving through life without truly understanding ourselves. We may be busy, but we are not necessarily growing. We may be accomplishing tasks, but we are not necessarily evolving. The noise of the world can often cloud our judgment, and without silence, we risk losing touch with the essence of who we are and what we truly need. It's easy to get caught up in the external, in the validation from others, in the noise of achievement and competition, but none of that matters if we lose sight of the internal work, the kind of work that can only be done in silence. The power of silence isn't just about being still. It's also about learning to quiet the noise in our minds. Our thoughts can often be our biggest distractions. The constant barrage of doubts, fears, and what-ifs can be overwhelming. But silence allows us to clear the clutter, to step away from the incessant mental chatter, and to reconnect with our true thoughts. It's in these moments of mental quiet that we are able to hear our intuition clearly, to tap into the wisdom that resides within us. This mental silence allows us to focus on the work that needs to be done. It helps us tune out the distractions, the second guessing, and the unnecessary noise that can derail our progress. When we cultivate silence in our minds, we create the space for focus, clarity, and purpose. In that space, we are able to prioritize what truly matters, to make decisions that align with our values, and to take actions that bring us closer to our goals. But silence doesn't just happen. It requires intentionality. In a world that constantly pulls for our attention, we must make the choice to step away from the noise. This means carving out time for solitude, whether it's a quiet morning with a cup of coffee, a walk in nature, or simply sitting in silence for a few minutes each day. It also means learning to embrace silence in our relationships. We often find ourselves filling every moment with words, with conversations, with noise, but silence in our relationships can be just as powerful as words. It can create space for deeper connection, for understanding, and for listening. In this quiet space, we also find the strength to process our emotions. Life can be overwhelming, and sometimes we are faced with challenges that leave us feeling lost or uncertain. In these moments, silence becomes a refuge. It allows us to sit with our emotions, to acknowledge our pain, fear, or frustration without judgment. It gives us the time and space we need to heal and grow. When we rush through our emotions, when we try to drown them out with noise, we miss the opportunity to truly understand and process them. Silence, on the other hand, allows us to sit with our feelings, to make sense of them, and to find the strength to move forward. The power of silence also lies in its ability to amplify our actions. When we spend time in quiet reflection, we are better able to see where we need to direct our energy. We become more intentional with our actions, more focused on what really matters. The strength we gain from silence isn't just a passive experience. It's a strength that fuels our action. It's the kind of strength that empowers us to move forward with purpose, to take steps toward our goals, and to face the challenges ahead with confidence. In a world that values noise, silence can feel uncomfortable. We are taught to be loud, to be seen, to be heard, but the quiet moments are where true power lies. It's in silence that we learn to listen to ourselves, to our purpose, and to our inner strength. It's in silence that we are able to build resilience, to reflect on our growth, and to find the focus we need to move forward. Silence may seem like a void, but in reality, it's a space of immense potential. It's where we find the clarity, strength, and peace that we need to become the best version of ourselves. The Kwesi Amnan says, focus on your own journey. It's so easy to get caught up in the race of life, especially when everyone around you seems to be moving at such a rapid pace. The world is full of noise, and it often seems as though everyone is competing for the same prize, striving for the same goals. We find ourselves comparing our lives to others, measuring our success against the successes of those around us. Social media magnifies this tendency with highlight reels of people's accomplishments and curated lives, constantly reminding us of what we don't have or what we haven't achieved. In such an environment, it's easy to lose sight of your own path, to forget that your journey is unique and that you are on your own timeline. Comparison is a thief. It robs us of our peace and our joy, making us question our progress and even our worth. It tells us that our value is determined by how we stack up against others, but this is a lie. The truth is that your journey is unlike anyone else's. The experiences that shape you, the lessons that you learn, and the obstacles that you overcome are all part of a process that only you can go through. No one else can walk your path for you, and no one else can live your story. And that's the beauty of it. While the world may be moving at its own pace, you are moving at yours. And that's exactly how it's supposed to be. Your path may look different from someone else's, and that's okay. It's easy to think that success looks the same for everyone, that there is one formula or one set of steps that everyone must follow to achieve their dreams. But the reality is that success is personal. It's defined by you and for you, based on your values, your goals, and your vision for your life. It's not a race to the finish line. It's a process of growth and self-discovery that unfolds in its own time. When we focus on our own journey, we stop trying to live someone else's life or follow someone else's timeline. We begin to trust that we are exactly where we need to be, and we start to recognize that each moment, each decision, and each step we take is a part of a larger picture. When you focus on your own journey, you learn to appreciate the unique qualities that make you who you are. You embrace your strengths and acknowledge your weaknesses without judgment. You give yourself permission to be imperfect and to take your time because you know that your path is your own. It's also important to recognize that everyone's journey has its own challenges and setbacks. It may seem like others have it easier or that their successes come more quickly, but the truth is that everyone faces obstacles. The people you admire or compare yourself to have had their own struggles, their own failures, and their own moments of doubt. What you see is the end result, the polished version of their story, but you don't see the behind-the-scenes work, the sacrifices, or the failures that got them to where they are. No one's journey is without hardship, and that's okay. The struggles you face are part of your story, part of what makes your journey uniquely yours. When we stop comparing ourselves to others, we free ourselves to pursue our own dreams on our own terms. We no longer feel the pressure to keep up with someone else's timeline or to meet someone else's expectations. Instead, we are able to set our own goals, make our own decisions, and move at our own pace. This is where true empowerment comes from, in learning to trust your own journey, even when it doesn't look like what others might expect or what society might dictate. Begin to understand that success isn't about the destination. It's about the person you become along the way. Focusing on your own journey also means accepting that your progress may not always be linear. There will be days when you feel like you're taking 2 steps forward, only to find yourself taking a step back. There will be moments of doubt, moments when you question whether you're on the right path or whether you should give up altogether. But this is all part of the process. Growth isn't always a straight line. There are ups and downs, twists and turns, and moments of uncertainty. It's during these times that you need to focus even more on your own journey, to remind yourself that setbacks don't define you. They are simply a part of the path that will lead you to where you need to be. Everyone's journey looks different, and it's important to remember that your worth is not determined by how fast or slow you move compared to others. In fact, the process of building yourself quietly and intentionally often involves periods of reflection, rest, and recalibration. These moments allow you to pause, reassess, and make sure you are still aligned with your true purpose. Sometimes the best thing you can do for your growth is to take a step back and allow yourself the space to grow in the way that's right for you. As you focus on your own journey, it's crucial to block out the noise and stay grounded in your purpose. The world will try to distract you, to pull you in different directions, and to make you question whether you're doing enough or whether you're good enough. But when you focus on your own journey, you tune out those distractions. You begin to trust yourself and your decisions. You learn to listen to your inner voice, the one that knows what's best for you, even when others may not understand. There will always be someone who seems to be ahead of you, someone who appears to be accomplishing more or getting more recognition, but comparison will only rob you of the joy of your own journey. You must trust that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. Your experiences, your timing, and your progress are all perfectly designed for you. The person you are becoming is a direct result of the unique journey you are on. The sooner you realize this, the more peace you will find in the process. One of the most empowering things you can do is to embrace your own timeline. The world may have certain expectations for when things should happen, but your life is not dictated by those timelines. You are in control of your own narrative. Whether it takes days, months, or years to reach your goals doesn't matter as much as the fact that you are moving toward them with purpose. You are taking steps every day, no matter how small, and that is progress. Focusing on your own journey means trusting the process, even when it's hard and even when you can't see the end result. It means learning to appreciate where you are right now without feeling the need to rush ahead or compare your progress to someone else's. When you stop measuring your worth by someone else's yardstick, you allow yourself the freedom to move at your own pace and in your own direction. And in doing so, you will find that the journey, with all its twists and turns, becomes the greatest gift of all. Patience is power. In a world that thrives on speed and instant gratification, we've come to view patience as something of an afterthought. We're constantly urged to move faster, achieve more, and push harder to reach our goals. The pressure to keep up with the rapid pace of life can often feel overwhelming, leaving us with little room to pause, reflect, or simply be still. But what if the very thing we are rushing past, patience, holds the key to unlocking true power? The idea of patience is often misunderstood. It's not about waiting passively for something to happen. It's not about standing still and doing nothing while life unfolds around us. Patience is active, deliberate, and full of purpose. It is the quiet strength that allows us to endure setbacks, stay the course through challenges, and continue working toward our goals, even when the results aren't immediate. Patience is the force that keeps us moving forward when everything around us seems to be moving in a different direction, or when we feel as though progress has stalled. Patience teaches us that not every outcome is immediate and that real transformation takes time. We live in a society that wants quick fixes, instant success, fast solutions, and immediate results. When things don't happen as quickly as we'd like, we become frustrated, disillusioned, or even ready to give up. But the truth is that the most meaningful achievements often require time, effort, and sustained dedication. True power comes not from rushing to the finish line, but from understanding that the journey itself, however long it may take, is just as important as the destination. When we cultivate patience, we give ourselves the grace to experience the process of growth rather than just focusing on the outcome. Growth is not linear, it isn't always clear, and it doesn't always follow a predictable path. Sometimes it involves 2 steps forward and 1 step back. Other times it feels like we've been standing still for longer than we'd like. But when we practice patience, we allow ourselves to embrace the uncertainty of the process. We stop measuring success by immediate results and instead begin to see value in the small steps, the quiet moments, and the incremental progress that leads us to where we want to be. Patience also teaches us to trust in timing. The idea that things happen when they're meant to happen is often met with skepticism in a world that prizes control and predictability. But there is power in trusting that everything unfolds at its own pace and that you are exactly where you need to be in this moment. This trust doesn't mean that we stop striving or that we don't take action toward our goals. Rather, it's a deep inner knowing that we are doing the right work at the right time. It's the ability to keep moving forward, even when we can't see the next step clearly. Patience allows us to surrender the need for immediate answers, knowing that the path will reveal itself in time. The power of patience is also evident in our ability to withstand difficulties. Life is full of challenges, and there are times when it feels like everything is against us. In those moments, it's easy to feel defeated or like we're not making any progress at all. But patience provides us with the resilience to endure. It's the quiet strength that says, this too shall pass. It's the belief that no matter how difficult the current situation may be, we will come through it stronger, wiser, and better equipped to face the next challenge. Patience helps us build emotional endurance. It teaches us that the tough times are not permanent and that they are a necessary part of the journey toward our goals. In our quest for success, it's easy to overlook the importance of waiting. We often see waiting as a waste of time, as if nothing is happening while we're waiting for things to fall into place. But waiting is an essential part of growth. It's in these waiting periods that we are given the opportunity to reflect, to learn, and to prepare ourselves for what's to come. It allows us to be still enough to receive the lessons we need, to refine our skills, and to develop the strength we will need for the next phase of our journey. Patience also gives us the space to make better decisions. In a world that encourages quick action, we often rush into decisions without fully thinking them through. But when we practice patience, we give ourselves time to consider our options carefully. Patience teaches us to slow down and listen to our intuition, to make decisions that align with our true desires rather than reacting impulsively to external pressures. When we allow ourselves the time to think and reflect, we make choices that are more aligned with our values, our long-term goals, and our vision for our life. There's also power in understanding that patience is not about being passive or complacent. It's not about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Patience is an active force that involves taking consistent, deliberate action even when we don't see immediate results. It's the strength to continue working toward your goals, even when progress feels slow or invisible. Patience requires us to stay committed, to keep showing up, and to trust that, in time, our efforts will bear fruit. Furthermore, patience allows us to develop a deeper sense of self-awareness. In moments of impatience, we often find ourselves becoming frustrated or anxious. These feelings can cloud our judgment and prevent us from seeing the bigger picture. But when we practice patience, we become more attuned to our emotions, our thoughts, and our reactions. We learn to recognize when we're pushing ourselves too hard or when we need to take a step back and rest. Patience teaches us to be kind to ourselves, to acknowledge that we are doing our best and that it's okay to take things one step at a time. One of the greatest sources of power that patience offers is the ability to persevere. There will be times when everything in you wants to quit, when you feel like you've given all you have and yet things aren't moving forward. But it's in these moments that patience proves its true strength. Patience helps us to press on even when the road is tough. Even when we can't see the end in sight, it helps us to keep going, to take one more step and to trust that eventually our persistence will lead to success. True power comes from understanding that the process is just as important as the outcome. Patience is not about waiting for the right moment to act. It's about taking deliberate action while also recognizing that timing is a critical element in the unfolding of your journey. It's about understanding that you are exactly where you need to be right now and that growth, success, and transformation require time. The power of patience lies in its ability to help us trust the process, endure the challenges, and remain steadfast in the pursuit of our dreams, even when the path is unclear or uncertain. In a world that often demands immediate results, patience is the quiet strength that keeps us moving forward, one step at a time.